Well, hey there, all you good-looking hotties. Welcome back to How to Get More Out of Your Breakup Than Just Heartache. This is Tomi here, and we are moving through Module 1. This is Closure and the Post-Divorce Process. So how you doing today? What's that? A bit hazy and partly cloudy? Well, watch out. It's a sunny day here on Heartbreak Ridge. This is the lesson on being rejuvenated. In this lesson, I'm going to give you 4 tips for changing your mindset that will rejuvenate you and ultimately give you more happiness, more success with moving on, and more freedom from the divorce that is holding you back. So here's what you'll discover in this lesson. The big picture: there's never a mattress at the end of your comfort zone is the theme to this lesson. That's my way of saying when you do things outside your comfort zone, you will grow. So I'm going to give you a few ways to stretch yourself and get you a little uncomfortable. So get ready, roll up your sleeves, because here we go. And if you apply these things, you will be well on your way to rejuvenation. And remember, it's not the destination, but rather the journey to becoming rejuvenated that transforms you. That is key, so remember that. As you gear up to go on this journey, I'll give you a 3-step recipe for changing your life. It's easy, it's actionable, and anyone can do it. We'll talk about how to be rejuvenated, 4 tips to get you outside your comfort zone, and how your thoughts play an important role. All right, so let's get started and we'll just jump on in. But before I start, I'm going to just say something here that I don't usually like to start off this way, but I'm going to say it because no one likes to hear it. And this isn't a mushy-gushy feel-good program. This is real life stuff, and I really want to help you. So I kind of say things, I might say a few things that might not be the most comfortable, but bear with me. I think everybody needs a dose of reality once in a while. So we've all been injured, every one of us. Usually it's by someone we trusted, maybe a father, a mother, a boss, a sibling, and in most of our cases, a spouse. And the injury is real. But here's the thing, it's your response to the injury that can make it better or worse. So if you deny the injury, if you stuff it and ignore it, if you don't let others know about it, how you feel, then remember this: pride goes before destruction. So, and when you pretend you don't have a wounded spirit, you're only fooling yourself. So here's what I say to you: recognize your reality, admit the truth, and admit you're wounded. It's kind of like, I don't know if any of you are big Monty Python fans, but he was a big guy when I was growing up, and the Holy Grail was the movie that was the big hit. And a lot of people from my era, they refer to Monty Python a lot. And this one scene, if you haven't ever seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, oh my gosh, it's pretty funny. Go out and check it out. But in this one scene, the Black Knight won't let the king pass over the bridge. So they get in this duel, and the king cuts off the knight's arm and commands, "Now, stand aside." The knight says, "'Tis but a scratch." And the king replies, "But your arm's cut off." The knight replies, "No, it isn't." And the king looks at the arm on the ground and says, "What's that then?" The knight says, "I've had worse. Come on, you pansy." So they go again, and the king whacks off the knight's other arm. And the knight keeps coming at the king, kicking him instead. And the knight says, "Had enough, eh?" And the king says, "What? Look, you stupid fool, you've got no arms left." And the knight replies, "Yes, I have. 'Tis but a flesh wound." And the king whacks off both the knight's legs, and the knight is just a torso. He's just a torso. He's just his body, and he's still in denial about his fatal condition. Threatening the king and with nothing but his words. Right? So being in denial can be fatal. Is that you? Are you that knight? Newsflash: it's not just a flesh wound. Okay, it's complex. What's happened to you? So don't deny it. That's all I'm going to say about that. So it wasn't that uncomfortable, was it? I mean, I could probably set it up a little worse than it was, but divorce is a process, and you just have to let it take its course. In other words, it ain't over till it's over. It's a sucky time and extremely stressful, and I think you all know that better than anyone. But it doesn't give you the right to have the wrong attitude. All of us who have ever been divorced know this, and we cut all newcomers to the club some slack. But we also know that things will change for the better, and that too is a process. It's called being rejuvenated. Here's how it works. The process starts like this. Your physical appearance will change, right? A lot of us lose weight. It just depends on how you deal with stress. So stress changes us physically, but it's how you respond to it that will separate the professionals from the amateurs. So I remember looking in the mirror and thinking I was aging rapidly from this ordeal called divorce. I seemed to have more gray hairs, and wrinkles appeared in places that they weren't before, and I was only in my early 30s. This change can happen over a short period of time too, maybe 6 months. But once you start to find inner peace again and realize you are going to be okay, your appearance, it will change back. You become calm again, and people will remark on how you look happier. It shows up in your skin, in your hair, your eyes, your smile, and even in the way you walk. Not kidding. Your anger will propel you to find happiness if you work with it. You like this little guy? He's jumping for joy. I guess he's reached that point with the light bulb moment. In the midst of divorce, you'll most likely have a lot of anger. You are angry at the circumstances of your life. Angry for the disappointment of a failed marriage. Angry that someone you loved could act this way. Angered that your best years for sex are passing you by. Am I right? Or am I right, folks? Come on. Let's not deny that. Anger can be a powerful tool when channeled in the right direction. When you turn your anger into productive energy, it can help you, not drain you. Rise to the challenge and find what works for you. Some might exercise, others might journal. Some fix things around the house. Some find a needy cause to help, or do crafts or paint. Whatever your thing is, find it, do it, and watch what happens. The best therapy I ever had was painting my bathroom walls. On the very weekend that my divorce was about to be final, I remember I was alone, and my kids were gone. They were at their dad's, and I had a painting project. So I stood in the moment there and thought about the significance of the date. It was sort of a bittersweet feeling that came over me because the divorce was going to be final that day. So naturally, I was upset about our marriage coming to an end, but at the same time, it was sort of a freeing feeling too. Somewhere between the bitter and the sweet, I found myself angry though, and this is when the idea hit me. So before I knew what I was doing, my paintbrush sort of had a mind of its own and was out of control. And I discovered that a wall is a big canvas for profanities. And since I was in the bathroom, well, I figured potty words would be appropriate for the mural on the wall. So all I can tell you is that when I was done, I felt energized and smug. And for about the next day, every time I walked by my bathroom and read the words that I wrote on my wall, I got a big chuckle. It was sort of madness, but it worked for me. And of course, I painted over it before the kids came home. So, get a project and do like I did. Maybe whatever works for you works, right? So, and here's my next bit of advice: don't be bitter. It's unattractive. And your face will freeze that way. My oldest sister used to always say that. Your face is going to freeze that way. I'd make faces at her. And being angry is normal, and you need to work through it. People expect you to be hurt and angry, but they are less tolerant of bitterness, okay? So there's a difference. It's something you have more control over. You can bite your tongue and monitor what comes out of your mouth. I mention this to spare you sort of the embarrassment that I endured. I had gone to a party, and it was a fundraiser, and we were sitting around a table of family and friends, and someone asked me how things were going, and it was a pretty loaded question at that time in my life, so I blurted out a few snarky things about my divorce, and just as I finished, one of the elders of the group gave me this pearl. She said, "Don't be bitter." At the time, I thought I was being funny and trying to mask my anger, but instead it came across as sarcasm and bitterness. So be careful of that. So I sat up and took notice of the faces around me, and everyone had turned away. It was kind of one of those moments like, oh, oops. So just so you know, you'll see the beauty in life again sooner than you think, and the bitterness will be sweetened with the rising of each new day. It sort of works like this. One day you will decide you've been sad or angry long enough, and you will move on. Just like that, you will have a light bulb moment. And it's true. I remember mine. I was sitting in my living room in my favorite chair. It was this big houndstooth chair I had, and really comfortable, overstuffed thing. And I'd meditate every morning with a cup of coffee. And I remember thinking, I had been crying. I remember, crying. I was done crying and being angry over this. I just had finally had enough tears, and I said, I am done, D-O-N-E, done. And by being angry, I was giving up. I realized I'd given up my power to him and her. And as soon as I realized that, I regained inner strength. It was as if a little light bulb in my head went on and said, now wait just a cotton picking minute, Tommy. So instead of being angry at them, I got angry at myself for being angry. Isn't that just kind of rich? Okay, and because I had grown to love myself, I guess that's what it was, I was able to release myself right then and there from being angry. It was in that one moment I found the spiritual strength within myself to move on. And I think that's part of the journey is you get these different growths. It's like, being a kid and having growth spurts. This was a spiritual growth. So anyway, I remember Dr. Covey. He talks about this in his book called The Eighth Habit, From Effectiveness to Greatness. And he says, anytime your emotional life is a function of someone else's weaknesses, you disempower yourself and empower those weaknesses to continue to mess up your life. In this way, yesterday holds tomorrow hostage. I'm sure you've all heard that. And William James is another American philosopher, psychologist, and he says this: when we change our thinking, we change our lives. And I've heard the fastest way to change your life is to change your thinking. So just something to think about. So have you ever heard that one before? I know this isn't new stuff to you, but it's a good time for a refresher and a reminder on this stuff. So here's a few more reminders. Here's a tip I have for you. It's important to set time aside each day to just think. Start by visualizing how you want your new life to be. A new house, a new experience, vacations, money in the bank, a companion, etc. Dream and dream big. Don't dream small, dream big. You are in the process of rejuvenation. Think of it as rebuilding you Inc. Like any new company, you need to have a business plan, complete with goals and objectives and budgets. Visualizing is a start, but you need to actually write your dreams down. Have a set time every day to dream, even if you only have time for 5 minutes or less. Do it. Maybe it's at nighttime, or maybe it's first thing in the morning. Pencil it in as part of the routine. Wherever you put some paper and pencil where you get held up, maybe the restroom or on your nightstand. I don't know, whatever works for you. But do it. It's very valuable. Have a set time every day to dream, like I said. Marcia Wieder, America's Dream Coach, says this about attaining your dreams. The quickest way to attain your dream is to have a dream team, people that will hold you accountable in a supportive way. And I call these kind of my chump friends. These were my friends that were going through divorce at the same time, and we all were sharing experiences and held each other accountable and made each other laugh. So that's important to have a dream team. And also if there is a dream that you have, get out there and get knowledge and get people to mentor you about how to do it. That's really key. Once you start speaking the goal into existence, you will hold yourself accountable for the sake of your own integrity. Isn't that true? By making strides toward fulfilling that goal, you enhance your belief system about the reality of that dream. Before you know it, you are on your way. So one more. Mark Victor Hansen, he wrote the Chicken Soup for the Soul book. He says this about dreams. You control your future, your destiny. What you think about comes about. By recording your dreams and goals on paper, you set in motion the process of becoming the person you most want to be. Put your future in good hands, your own. Do you see the common thread here? Write your dreams down, people, and speak them into existence. That's the key. In the transcript to this lesson, you will find, let's see, what did I have in here? I think I was going to put some YouTube videos in. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. If you don't see the YouTube videos in, because I haven't done it yet, I'm going to try to get that done. But Oprah's a good one for inspiring your journeys, and Dr. Wayne Dyer, he's a good one. And as I mentioned, Marcia Wieder, she's America's Dream Coach. Those are great YouTube videos, people to check out and search for. So yeah, take a peek at those, folks, if you get a chance. And I give you, here's a challenge. This is my 1 week challenge that I would like to throw out there for you guys. Go 1 week without saying anything negative about anything or anyone. Do you think you can do it? A whole week. Here's how to do it. Put 5 tickets in a jar at the start of the challenge. Every time you say something negative, pull a ticket. The goal is to have at least 1 ticket remaining in the jar at the end of the week. If you blow it, start over until you get a whole week without saying anything negative. And I'm still working on this challenge. I think I've been working on it for about a month now. I can't quite get it. I quite haven't perfected it yet. I'll get there. Tip 2, seek spirituality and your faith will grow. Even if you have never been religious before, pray. You're going to need forgiveness eventually. Can I get an amen? Huh? Yeah. So it's no surprise that newly divorced couples are often full of venom toward each other. I think the word friendly divorce is sort of an oxymoron, and I have I think it's lesson 4 is the ideal divorce. Is it an oxymoron? Friendly divorce, I don't know. It takes a while to get past the anger and look inward, but it's through spiritual growth we come to understand our role in the divorce. By spiritual growth, I don't mean religion. I'm talking about the kind of spiritual growth that helps you find the beauty in life again. You know, nature and all that stuff. It takes time, but when we open our minds to spiritual healing, clarity will come. Because I know that divorce clouds your world for a while and it colors everything, and eventually you get that healing that comes, and that inner peace will come back. And when you can get stuck or have too much you're dealing with, here's a great saying one to help ease the burden. It just so happens to be a prayer. So, and even though you don't have to be religious to say this prayer, it's a good one to remember. So the Serenity Prayer was the one that brought me great comfort. And like I said, you can use this one even if you aren't religious. It goes like this. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. This little prayer put a spin on things that made me realize there are just some things I can't change, and that's okay. Then at some point, you will go through a phase of wanting to feel sexy and attractive. You will find that many people coming out of divorce go through a period of reclaiming who they are sexually. This is because depending on the amount of time your marriage was failing, intimacy and feelings of being sexual were probably snuffed out of you. So when I was going through this phase, I decided to stop feeling so old and unattractive. Like I said, I felt like I was aging, like one of those rapid age videos, you know, where we turned into dust almost. I bought my first pair of thong underwear, and I highlighted my hair. So for someone as conservative as myself, it was enough to start the process for me. You know, I didn't need to color my hair. I was only in my early 30s, but I highlighted it and, you know, I just felt better. So the next thing I knew, I was wearing sports bras as outerwear, and before too long, I stopped wearing pantyhose with my sandals, right? And as if that wasn't enough, I got really crazy and had laser surgery on my eyes and got rid of my Coke bottle glasses. And watch it now, I even got my ears double pierced. Woo, crazy talk. I was on a roll. I had a company model for building Tomi Inc. I stole it from the Army. My motto was, be all that you can be. Did I mention these little fix-me-ups expenses came out of my Tomi Inc. marketing budget? I don't think I mentioned that yet. So it wasn't much, believe me. I mean, that's why to this day I still love a good thrift store. So I learned how to budget and stretch a dollar and squeeze old Lincoln. I definitely think that aspects of this phase do pass. For instance, I can't stand thong underwear anymore. I don't wear them. Just going to tell you. Is that a little TMI? Probably, but you know, we all maybe need them once in a while, but not every day. But once your quest for feeling sexy is fulfilled, you no longer have to bring yourself up from where you were sexually, and you can relax. It later becomes a maintenance program of being happy with what you've got. So I have another little slide for you here. So get lots of rest. You are more emotional when you are tired. Sleep deprivation is insomnia, and insomnia are directly associated with anxiety and stress. So in case you aren't sleeping very well, and chances are you probably aren't right now, here is my antidote. If you want to sleep soundly, exercise. You will sleep from pure exhaustion. I'm not kidding. Then you won't be so emotional, and you'll end up looking great too in the process. So working out will make you feel sexier too. 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days is the standard recommendation for general health and a good night's rest. Studies show that exercise significantly improves sleep quality, depression, and the quality of one's life. Just look at any medical journal and you'll see. When you exercise, you will get benefits that less fit people don't enjoy. One of them is sleep. Fit people sleep more soundly than those that aren't. When you are fit, you go into REM, rapid eye movement, sleep faster, and you come out of REM faster, so you wake up more refreshed. Aside from the other many physiological benefits of exercise, there are some other motivating reasons. Exercise results in better sex, delayed aging, increased energy and vitality, improved self-esteem, decreased body weight, and better control of hunger. Need I say more? Do I need to say more about this? So I repeat, work out to kick some butt. Exercise is an excellent way to work off some of that hostility. Many people complain they don't have enough time to work out, especially if they have kids. There are all kinds of gyms that cater to families. My children were 4 and 8 when I joined our family gym, and they loved the gym so much that they would motivate me to go on nights that I really didn't feel like going. As they got older, it motivated them to do their homework. So we wouldn't go unless all their homework was done first. That was sort of the motivator. We'd get to the gym at maybe 7:30 at night. I'd work out for maybe 45 minutes to an hour while they played. Then in the summer, they might get to swim for maybe 30 minutes then after I was done with my workout. I would give them showers there at the gym and dress them in their pajamas so that when we were ready to go home, they'd be ready for bed. And it saved me a lot of time that way. They'd be exhausted from all that activity, and then they'd go right to sleep, and I'd have a few hours to myself. So to me, exercise was the best medicine for all of us, hands down. You see, my children were my dream team. They supported me and often demanded we go to the gym. Their motive might not have been the same as mine, but it got my butt into the gym, right? So here's the next thing. Moving on. You will learn to enjoy being alone. You can learn to enjoy being alone, but it takes time to find this out. I wasn't ready for the silence in the house when the kids would go with their father on his weekends. It was pretty much all I could do not to cry. Finally, I learned to busy myself with projects, cramming as much as possible into those 2 days, and it kept me focused and the tears away. Eventually, I used the time to recharge my mommy batteries, and it was a good thing. I was able to have guilt-free time with my friends too. By rejuvenating your outlook on life, your situation will change. You will come out happier. If you want to jumpstart the process and break out of the funk, find something that challenges you and do it. When you surround yourself with support from your dream team, an amazing thing happens. You achieve your goals. All right, so here we go. The 3-step process for changing your life that anybody can do. And believe me, if I can do this, so can you. All right. Step 1. Growth and change are never comfortable, so don't expect to find a mattress at the end of your comfort zone, right? You've heard me say that. The rule of thumb is this: the more uncomfortable you are, the more you are going to grow. So that first step in changing your life is this. Know what your fears or challenges are. I think for a time at least, divorce shatters our self-confidence, and we have to find a way to get it back. We're doing things alone for the first time in a long time, and anyone who's been married for 5 minutes knows that you depend on your spouse for certain things. This is the stage where you get a clearer picture of just what some of those things were. For us gals, it can be a little frightening when the first real home repair issue arises and you have to fix it all by yourself. Or maybe you have, maybe some of you guys, maybe it's managing the kids and their schedules. That could be a little daunting. Or even filing taxes if you weren't the one who typically handled the money, right, and the budget and all that stuff. I'm just going to say this. Maybe you're fearful of losing your kids, and maybe your ex is your biggest challenge. Okay, maybe that's your biggest fear. Hey, did I hit it on the nose with that one, or what? Are you guys did anybody catch that? So, well, a lot of you that's a very real fear that your ex is trying to keep the kids from you. So I know how this goes. Okay, so hear me out on this one. So, the next question you probably want to ask yourself is why? Why is that the case? Why is the ex being this way? And the answer is not just because they're a biatch or a dick. That would be the third grade answer, right? So we don't want to play third grade school. So what's the real issue? What's going on? And let's just dig in a little deeper here. I'm just going to get real with you for a minute. Do you have an addiction? Are you fighting some demon? Is it possible you are creating much of the fear your ex has as they are creating in you? Even if you have a good handle on your demons, or if you think you have a good handle on your demons, or even if you no longer have any demons, when there are children involved, it's natural to give each other these anxieties. The ex fears you're going to be doing things to endanger the children. Bottom line, you know you never would. But nonetheless, it's the ex's fear that stems from some sort of belief about you that's giving you a challenge. So if you really want your kids, stop doing whatever the ex thinks you're doing. If it is an addiction, if it's a new girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, give them proof that this isn't going to be a problem, and don't whine about it. It's not for them, it's for you. You want your kids, don't you? And yes, I know how some exes can be ultra manipulative. I really, really do. It's unfortunate. I've seen it, but know this, it won't last forever. Trust me. When the kids start acting up, guess who's going to be the first person on the do not disturb list to get the call to come get them? You will get your kids. It's a matter of how you fight the good fight. So stay strong. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, where was I? Handling things for the first time. Yeah, plumbing issues always freaked me out. But after reading manuals and asking for guidance at Home Depot, I installed a new faucet. Woohoo! I put a new baseboard down, a few of them actually in one room, ran cable underneath my house when the wimpy cable guys wouldn't do it. I think they said when I was done, oh, you get the Customer of the Year award. Yeah, I just about wanted to slap them. But anyway, I built a play structure for my kids, and I even poured cement for a tetherball. Now, I'm only 5'2", so if I can do this stuff, I think you can too. It was great. I took an old tire, filled it with cement, and stuck a pole in the center of it, and the kids loved it. They played tetherball for hours. But truth be told, there are some things you should leave to the professionals. So one time I thought I'd be handy and refinish my hardwood floors. That didn't turn out too well. I ended up having to call the professionals in, and I could overhear them talking in the other room. Man, who did this job? They did a horrible job. They screwed this all up. And I kind of went, it was my ex, when really it was me. So anyway, yeah, sometimes you have to hire the professionals. All right, get uncomfortable. When you stretch yourself outside your comfort zone, you grow because it connects you to new experiences. With each success, you achieve a new sense of transformation. So let's talk about the next step for changing your life, shall we? Face those fears or challenges you have. The key to success in this step is to be teachable. Are you teachable? Take a second and think about that. Take your time. I mean, really think about that. Are you teachable? A lot of people say they are when in fact they aren't. They get argumentative, they get confrontational, and they get all bent and their feelings get hurt when somebody tries to give them constructive criticism. Okay, so I'm just saying, take your pride out of the equation and be teachable. Are you open to new ideas or new experiences? If not, what would it take to get you to be? Money, better health, and time. Newsflash, you don't need any of those to be open to change. All it takes is a teachable spirit. Do you have one? Want to get one? Well, stick with me. The key to changing your life is having a teachable spirit. I've said it again. Our souls can be rejuvenated after having a first time or a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So I highly recommend high school reunions. They're great for this because sometimes those limiting beliefs that we've had and held on to since high school, they can melt away because most people grow up after high school and are just glad to see you for being you. If you've never been to one, I suggest you go because it will probably be a pretty good game changer in how you feel and believe about yourself and your experience in high school. You'll see what I'm talking about. If your fear is your ex, then face him or her. And, of course, in small doses. And then reward yourself in some small way for being so strong. If filing your taxes is up there on your list, then hear me on this one. In a twisted way, filing your taxes will liberate you. I love olive oil. I learned to embrace the fact that I was no longer filing my taxes as married filing joint. I was now able to file as head of household. That's a California category. I don't think it applies in every state, but just the term head of household was empowering in itself. So maybe you always wanted to go back to school or write a book. Maybe your fears are your finances. Divorce can elevate this one big time. Maybe you need to face this challenge and restructure your life and get the debt paid off. I'm a big fan of Dave Ramsey, so under my helpful resources, I will probably put a link there. And if you don't see one, go out to Dave Ramsey's website and just Google Dave Ramsey. And he's got a 9-week course called Financial Peace University. Check it out. It may change your life. And I think it's pretty reasonable, maybe $90. But you have to be teachable. All right, just remember, you have to be teachable. Some people take up skydiving or other thrill-seeking sports like kayaking, cycling, skiing, and oh my gosh, online dating. I cringe. That was just never for me. But I know a lot of friends who've had success with that, so kudos. Some people travel, some people sail the ocean, some people hike, fish, or ride bikes. So my advice to you is this. Whatever interests or challenges you've put off in the past, do one of them within the next, 3 months, I guess. Whatever is reasonable, but, at least 3 months seems like ample time to get something like that done. Maybe you need to save for it, though, or if it's something big, For me, stepping outside my comfort zone meant driving distances with the kids to get out of town so we could go do something different and have some fun. So driving long distances with the kids seemed to always give me anxiety. I was always afraid that something might happen. My car might break down. Someone would get sick. I'd lose my keys. It'd be too long of a drive for them and me. And oh my gosh, I was just a hot mess about the whole thing. It was weird because I always prided myself on being able to handle anything. But when I went through my divorce, I just kind of lost some confidence, right? So I stuffed my fear and decided to pack up and take the kids to the beach one day. I made myself do it, and it was getting late. I mean, it was like 1:30 in the afternoon, and it's about a 3-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive to the beach. So by the time we got there, it was getting kind of late and dark, but we did it. And they had a great time. I got some great pictures kind of at what they call the magic hour, right when the sun's coming down. And we stopped and we got some ice cream and we got gas and we did all those fun things, and they slept the entire ride home. So when it was over, I felt like Mom of the Year. So after every successful trip, I got a little bit more comfortable and it became easier for the next time. So try it. Amazing things will happen. When you are in the wrong relationship and it finally ends, your life is on a path of rejuvenation. It happens in ways we could not have imagined, but it does. The trick, is to be in tune with it when it happens. So, for example, in my first marriage, we were homebodies. I was so dependent on my husband for my entertainment that I would never have explored trails or bike paths, much less have taken road trips on my own. When I was single, I got tired of wasting time at home alone and doing nothing, so I ventured out and would take the kids. Sometimes I'd go by myself. I'd take long bike rides. I'd go jogging on the weekend to new venues. And I traveled distances just to get out of my house and my surroundings. One time I took a 3-hour road trip just to get out on a Saturday night, and I was trying to see the sunset on the beach, but I got lost and I never made it to the beach. But it was fun because I could say I was out of the house and nobody had to know I was just kind of screwing around getting lost. Nonetheless, I was out doing things and I accomplished my mission, which was basically just get out of the house. When you're in the process of rejuvenation, do what frightens or challenges you. Consider doing things you would never have done before. When I met Todd, who is consequently my current husband, he and I traveled all over the state that I was born and raised in. And see, he's a Texas guy, so California was just new territory to him. But he'd never explored any of this stuff, and well, actually he had. That's why he was kind of my tour guide, but I never had. So there was so much to explore right in my own backyard. And things that were not part of my life before now gave my life new meaning. We went hiking on the Pacific Crest Trail on one of our adventures, and we hiked with gear for 2 days, and by the time we were finished, I was completely exhausted. I should show you a picture clip of that, but I don't have it handy. My eyes were so bloodshot. But I was also elated that I had succeeded. Todd coached me and pushed me beyond my comfort zone, and it was challenging, but I had done it. So when we are empowered by life, we start to change our beliefs about ourselves and our lives. The process of rejuvenation comes from redefining your zest in life and by having a teachable spirit. And remember, it's the rejuvenation, being rejuvenated is not always something we consciously seek. You can find it or it can find you. It's just not one of those. It's just not the destination, but it's rather the journey getting there that transforms you. So, in recapping all of this, just remember, if you want to find ways to change your life instead of waiting for life to change you, you have to acknowledge those things that you were afraid of or challenged by and face them. It's a 3-step process. First, you need to know what your fears or challenges are. Second, you need to find a way to face those fears and challenges. And third, you need to act on what frightens or challenges you. Help is there for you. All you have to do is identify your challenges and seek support. The result will be change in what you believe about yourself. You will see. And don't forget, I have a resource guide at the end of this chapter. I don't think I mentioned it. There's some things to click on about some of the things I mentioned in here, how to get out of debt, transforming your life with thoughts, all that stuff. So check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. Let's see. So I guess I'll just see you then in the next video, and we'll be moving on to the next lesson.